Okay, welcome to the show, co-founder of Paper Planes Digital Consultants, host of the Paper Planes podcast, serial entrepreneur and all-round good bloke, Simon Dell.
What a terrible intro.
Thanks for jumping on the show, mate. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's been a while.
It has been a while. How's the podcast going?
Yeah, good. We have up to 80-something episodes now, so sort of fast approaching 100 episodes. So
very good.
It's challenging because you have to keep trying to keep it fresh all the time. So you want fresh content and you want fresh ideas. And the biggest challenge we've had is we keep getting white men on the show. I don't want to sort of try and force diversity or anything like that, because I think that's worse. But at the same time, we want to try and hear from lots of different people, lots of different business owners, female, male, young, old, different ethnic backgrounds, etc., etc. It's generally hard finding them, and that's probably the biggest challenge. But
okay.
So it feels like we're very white male, which is something we're trying to fix. So.
All right. So for the listeners and the watchers, if you're out there and you know of a good marketing expert that fits the description other than a white male, reach out to Simon Dell. But I totally get it, and I appreciate that because it gives a different perspective. And and I appreciate the fact that you're out to change that. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, mate, I saw a video pop up on your LinkedIn profile last week, which moved me to reach out to you pretty much straight away. It was a phenomenal idea, or it is a phenomenal idea, given the current climate, and especially the devastation that is taking place with restaurants right now. It's called supportrestaurants.com.au. Can you share a little bit about what this is and, what gave you the idea?
So, like all good ideas, we stole it from somewhere else. There's a newsletter that I subscribe to called Springwise, which I would recommend to anybody. They collate kind of new ideas, innovation from around the world, and sort of send out 3 or 4 ideas every day. And on the bottom of it, I saw one that was being done in the US for dining bonds. So dining bonds are like normal bonds. You buy them, as an investment and then spend them later on. And it just sort of occurred to me. I sent it through to Matt, my business partner, and I said, wouldn't this be great if they had something like this in Australia? His wife's parents own a restaurant, and they've been fairly hit hard in the last week, 2 weeks.
I can imagine
the climate that we're in. And we said, well, why don't we set up the site? Why don't we try and do something like that here in Australia? And let's focus on doing that for, the hospitality industry, so restaurants, cafes. And I just saw, at the same time it happened, it was one of those things where you kind of see 2 or 3 things at the same time and you go, yeah, right, perhaps we should do this. I was on one of those community groups in Facebook. So, I'm sure your listeners out there are on those as well, but the postcode based community groups.
Another ones. Yeah.
And there was a woman on there saying how she was walking through a local shopping centre and she'd been looking at all these cafes and they were empty, and she'd seen one of the owners standing in the cafe, and she said it was just like the saddest sight that she'd ever seen. It was like watching a slow motion car crash. You could see these businesses were going to go, but it was just watching it happen. And she sort of said, I wish there was something we could do for them. So I got that email, and then I saw her thing online, and it just kind of went, you know what, let's do this. Let's set this up, and see where it goes. It's not a completely new idea, but I think given the climate, it's more appropriate than it's ever been.
Yeah, awesome. So how can people support this idea? So obviously you've got twofold. I saw on the video, there's obviously those that own restaurants right now, and the intention of having you on the show is to get the word out to restaurateurs and also to patrons, potential patrons. So how can people support this great cause?
The first thing is obviously the restaurateur. So if you own a cafe, restaurant, hospitality venue, and again, I don't want to, all restaurants are need help, but especially people that are perhaps, it's a family business, it's a, sole trader, like a single restaurant, things like that. Those are the people we want to try and help. And really what we just need them to do is send us an email. So it's hello@supportrestaurants.com.au, or you can go to the website and there's a form that you can fill in there.
And I'll have the links in below the podcast just here as well.
And we'll endeavour to get them onto the website as quickly as we possibly can. And then I guess it's from the local, those people who are patrons who might go somewhere and get their coffee or used to go somewhere and get their coffee every day, or maybe have a favourite restaurant that they can't go to at the moment, is basically either go and tell that restaurant that we're here, or get their credit card out and buy one of the bonds. And the bonds are going to vary in terms of price and value. We're going to let the restaurant set that as well. We're going to give them some direction and some advice, but it's really down to the restaurant what they want to do.
Yep.
Just basically buy a bond, with a view to spending it in, hopefully, as soon as they open again, which we hope is sooner rather than later. But, in this day and age, you can't really, you've got no idea when it's going to be. So
yeah, no, totally. And do you think the restaurants will set up their menu business as usual, where people can buy certain options, or do you think they'll kind of package different bonds together?
The idea behind a bond is you're buying cash, you'll be able to get, right. You just exchange it for whatever is normally on the menu. So it's not like a special meal or anything. If you spend $70 on the bond, you get $100 worth of value, and when the restaurant opens, you go in and spend that as if it were a gift voucher. And the reason these aren't gift vouchers is because there is a price discrepancy between them.
Yes.
Gift vouchers are normally 1-for-1, whereas a bond is, you're buying it at a lower rate with the assumption that it's going to increase in value over time. That's the point of a bond. We've actually had a law firm that have stepped in and are doing us the terms and conditions for both the restaurant and for the and they're doing the end user. They're doing that pro bono for us, so that was great.
Oh, fantastic! Do you want to give them a shout out if that's all? If they're
yes, but I can't remember their name.
We'll get their name and put their website, their URL in the link below.
Honestly, because I had one conversation with them. They rang me up on Friday and said, "Give us a brief," and I was like, blur, and I blurted it all out. And then I went, "Who are these people?
What just happened?"
What we do is we put their name on the website.
Yeah, perfect.
As a supporter, so they'll definitely get some coverage. Honestly, it's like we did this. This idea was on Wednesday, and we were like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then the next thing we know, we've got a website 24 hours later, a logo, and all these people going, "Yeah, we want to be on it." And the restaurant we actually had about 3 law firms coming through at 4 and go, "Yeah, we can help you." And I was like, "Which one?" So it's basically whoever rang us first. That was.
No, that's great. It's good to see.
Anyway, but the point is, with the law firm, we want to, what we're trying to do is get some terms and conditions set up to say that the restaurant can't restrict what you can spend the money on. We think that's only fair if someone's prepared to take a risk. And what I would remind everyone is a bond is a risk, especially if you bought government bonds years ago. A bond is a risk. There is no guarantee that the restaurant is going to be there in 3 months' time. So you could theoretically lose your money.
Yeah.
So we obviously make that very, very clear. But also we needed to make that clear in the terms and conditions because, the last thing we want is lots of emails saying, where's my restaurant?
Yeah,
why can't I spend this money anymore? So
it's a great opportunity for the community to get involved, to support their local restaurant, to get them through this tough time. And at the other side of that, hopefully enjoy the food that they previously enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, hopefully every little bit helps. And to be honest with you, if we can save one business, that makes it kind of worthwhile. We work with a lot of small businesses. I know you do as well. You and I have spoken about how, I would probably say 80% of businesses weren't ready for this kind of thing to happen. And that's probably being kind 80%. I saw a video on TikTok of a guy who spent 10 years building up a family business and then lost it in 10 days. We've lost clients. We've lost clients in the last couple of weeks. We're fairly well insulated because a lot of our clients are long-term. But yeah, I can only imagine, if you poured your heart and soul into a restaurant business and you're shutting the doors through no fault of your own, it's not a nice place to be for anybody.
No, not at all. Not at all. My heart is heavy for all those that are experiencing hardship right now in small business, and across, obviously, for their employees as well.
Yeah.
Simon, thanks for being on the show again, mate. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your commitment to the small businesses of this country, not just for the restaurants, but through your podcast, through educating people on great marketing ideas. And I highly recommend people check that out. Paper Planes, you can find that on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud.
Yeah, iTunes, Spotify, or come to the website, flypaperplanes.co. They're all listed there on the website as well, so you can stream them on there. That's it. It kind of distributes out everywhere.
It does.
Stitcher, we're apparently big on Stitcher.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we got a bit of a following on Stitcher as well. Shout out to all the Stitcher listeners out there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And on Podbean? You tried Podbean?
No, not heard of that one.
Yeah.
The one I've been trying to get onto is the Google one. But apparently it's still restricted for Australian businesses or Australian podcasts. So,
there you go. We'll catch up. Mate, thanks for being on the show.